All right, welcome everybody. It is Health Talk, and we just want to welcome you this morning. We have special guests, well, not just one, but two special guests in studio this morning. Today we have Leann Gooley and Jamie Bussiere, and they are both here representing the Cancer Center. Welcome. How you doing, Leann?
Good. Thank you for having us.
All right, tell us a little bit about Leann Gooley.
Well, I've been an oncology nurse for 26 years. I've worked in acute care, outpatient chemotherapy.
That's because you're cute.
Well, thank you.
Sorry, I was like to break things up a little bit there. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm a bachelor's prepared nurse. I'm oncology certified and working towards another certification in navigation.
Now, could you explain what it means to be oncology certified?
What it means is that you have to have X amount of hours, a large amount of hours, working with oncology patients. And then you take a long, arduous test.
Okay.
And then you recertify every 4 years.
All right. Now, if you wouldn't mind just kind of telling us a little bit about the Cancer Center at Providence St. Patrick Hospital. It is in the Northwest one of the premier cancer centers, and a lot of folks come from hundreds of miles around just to be seen and treated there. So, yeah, give us kind of an overview of the center.
Absolutely. We have a beautiful, beautiful setting. We're on the second floor of the Broadway building, connected to St. Patrick's Hospital. We have about 26 wonderful chairs in a panoramic view of downtown Missoula. And we have... Oh, I'm so sorry.
Is that where folks go to get their treatments?
Yes,
right?
that's where folks go to get their treatment.
Like infusion and things? Right.
We have a comprehensive center, really. We have the Chemotherapy Cancer Center. Then we have all the services right on the same floor. We have radiation oncology, medical oncology, social services, financial counseling, navigation, which is me.
Right.
And, excuse me. And then up just a few floors, we have our surgeons.
Okay, so tell me what a navigator does. It's kind of self-explanatory, but I'm sure you have a much longer, more important explanation.
Well, the role of the navigator at the Cancer Center usually starts with the patient either at the time of a biopsy or at the time of diagnosis. And what we simply do is we're a patient advocate. And our job is to assist them through the whole process once they're diagnosed. Okay. And you can imagine at the time of diagnosis, it's
spooky,
difficult, it's scary. Yeah. There's lots of unanswered questions. There's a million appointments to schedule. So what we do is we assist them just through the whole system. So we assist with scheduling with medical oncologists, radiation oncologists, surgeons, social work if they need it, financial counseling. We also have a component of genetic counseling.
Right. Let's make this really personal here. Okay. Let's say I come to you and I've got some pain or whatever, and the doctor examines me and says, "Peter, you have cancer," and so all of a sudden I'm going, and even though we know people that have had cancer, we know people that have survived cancer, it hasn't happened to me yet. So when that happens, I look around and there's Leann. There you are, standing there. You're at your desk. I go to your desk and I'm going, I'm looking lost and confused. And how do you help me?
Peter, the first thing I'm going to do is take you into my office, and we're going to sit down with you, your loved ones. If you don't have any support group, I'll be your support group at that moment. Okay,
that's great. Okay,
and we're going to visit. I'm going to listen and hear what you're afraid of, what your fears are, possibly.
You're going to give me a Kleenex.
Your concerns. Right I am more than willing to wrap you up in my arms and give you a hug and try to reassure you that things are going to be great.
Okay.
And then at that point, when you're ready, we'll talk a little bit about your diagnosis. We'll do some education, give you some ideas as to what to expect, what your treatment will be, what your care plan will be. So all of these disciplines play a huge role in developing your care plan. And so at that point, then I say, okay, you need an appointment with a medical oncologist, a radiation oncologist, and a surgeon.
Now, that all that depends on the kind of diagnosis, right?
Absolutely.
And once you get the diagnosis and it's been narrowed down to exactly what you've got, then that's when you take over and say, okay, now that I know what all the 1, 2s, and 3s are, it's time to get started with treatment.
Well, yes, and that's part of the cancer team, and that's part of the approach there because we're a very comprehensive cancer center.
Okay.
And so at that point, then you're going to know, okay, on Tuesday I have this appointment, Wednesday, Friday, and then we start making your comprehensive care plan for your treatment just specific to you.
Now, you also do some genetic counseling. What's that all about?
It's a wonderful thing that we have just recently gotten together. And, we're kind of a small town sometimes in the sense of we don't always have specific, like genetic counseling available to us right on site. But what we've done is arrange to have a genetic counselor from Sacred Heart in Spokane, which is another Providence hospital. And we have a teleconference. Actually, it's not teleconference. It's actually a video conference.
Sure, yeah.
And so
it's amazing how they do that these days. It's like you're right there in the room, right?
Yeah, we have a specific room
and
a screen. They take in the intake form. The counselor does all the studying. Then at that point, they meet with the patient and do some discussion. And then we're able to determine what testing may or may not be necessary to assist in the treatment.
All right. So you as a navigator, are you done at that point once you hand them over to the doctor, or how does that work?
Oh, heavenly days, no.
That would be a no.
No.
Okay.
It's really a continuum of care because just once you're diagnosed, we just don't say, okay, here's your appointment card. See you later, Peter.
Yeah, right.
What really happens is we serve as a resource for that patient. And at any point in treatment, we're always available to assist with solving problems. Maybe there's something specific you don't understand, further education. People are highly individual, and we like to tailor their treatment plan and their care to their needs and to their family.
Tell you what, we're up against a break, but what I want to do, I just know that out there isn't a single person in our listening audience, which is thousands of people, that doesn't have either somebody in their family or somebody they work with or a dear friend who hasn't either working with cancer or dealing with cancer or is afraid, of that appointment. So I'm going to ask, if you have a question, give us a call, 721-1290, specifically that our navigator and that our social worker can answer. Give us a call. We'll try to get those answered for you at 721-1290, and we'll be right back.
Thank you for the glasses.
Okay, we're back on Health Talk. 721-1290 is our number. Phone lines are open if you want to have a question for Leann Gooley, who is an RN Cancer Care Program Navigator at Providence St. Patrick Hospital. Also, Jamie Bussiere. We haven't heard from Jamie yet. We're going to get to her in just a few minutes. Now, one of the things that is coming up here real quick is the Team Up for Cancer event. And you guys are huge in that. And I know because in my family, every female member of my family is a part of that parade because we've had, family encounters with cancer. A 2-time breast cancer survivor is one of them. And so they've already got their jerseys for 2015. They're already ready to go. So, Jamie, is that something you can talk about? Let's get you on the line.
I sure can.
Okay.
As you mentioned, the Team Up Montana game is October 10th this year. It's in conjunction with the Grizz Pink game.
Right.
We're so excited to be a part of it. And one of the things that is really emotional, and I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to see the parade, is just seeing the numbers of people coming out and saying, I've been diagnosed with cancer, but I'm still standing.
Right.
Or I'm walking, or I'm using a cane, but I'm here.
Well, I remember, because I'm the PA announcer at the football games, I remember when Jill Valley went out in front of all those people, took off her wig, and it was an enormously important moment, I think, for so many people that have been breast cancer survivors or any kind of cancer survivors. Hey, this is me. This is what it's all about. She's a very brave lady.
Yeah, I'm amazed every day with the patients that I get to interact with, the grace and the courage and the strength that they go through the treatment with. it floors me. I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it, because we truly do have the most wonderful patients. And it's a way for us to recognize them, not only them, but also their family and their caregivers and their friends, the struggle that they go through on every day. We say from the day you get that diagnosis, you're a survivor. And this parade recognizes that. And we encourage anybody in the area to come and join us at the Survivor Parade. Well, we'd love to have it the biggest and best each year. So.
Well, actually, we hope to bring it so we don't ever have to have a Cancer Survivor Parade again.
That would be awesome. And I know there's tons of developments in the medical field going towards different treatments for cancer, and that's well outside of my scope of knowledge being a social worker, but, I would love to be out of a job.
Well, let's talk about your job as a social worker. What exactly do you do?
Well, my big role, the way I explain it, is my job is to make sure that there's no reason why you can't get the treatment and the care that you want. Be it, you live in Salmon, Idaho, and you have to drive several hours to get to treatment. We have programs that assist with lodging, with transportation, with food, just all the logistical aspects. But also, as you mentioned, when you hear you have cancer, it's a very scary thing.
Yeah, boom.
And what do I want to do? What does this mean for my future? It allows a lot of people the opportunity to think about how they've been living their life and what changes they want and what's important to them. And so it's assisting them in having those discussions and making the changes that they want or they don't want. And saying, sometimes it's just being there and saying, it's okay. You're having a bad day. Come on into my office. I've got a stash of chocolate. Have some chocolate and, and we'll just hang out for a few minutes.
Can I do that even if I'm not having a bad day?
You sure can.
All right. So what is your favorite part about your job, about being a social worker?
My favorite part has got to be working with the patients. As I said before, I'm inspired by them, and just having the opportunity to interact with such wonderful people every day, it's absolutely amazing. I've got amazing colleagues. Our doctors are top notch. I would go to any of them in the heartbeat if I ever had that diagnosis, and I would want my family to go to them as well. And it's just working with these amazing people, it makes it easy to go to my job.
Talk to me about the families, because as soon as you have that diagnosis, it's not just a personal issue; it's a family issue. And of course, you got mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, brothers, sisters, extended family, co-workers. You name it. Everybody gets involved in this experience and in this treatment. So, what kind of things do you do to help them?
Well, we have a couple of different options, and it's really based on what the patient and the families want. So we can get them hooked up with different programs. We have a general support group, which is not only for the patients, but also their family members and caregivers. So they come together once a month and talk about what's going on and what's being experienced in their life. We can get people set up with individual counseling sessions for family counseling, but sometimes it's working the feelings with the family member, with the permission of the patient, of course, on their own, because there's a lot of what I find is everybody's so concerned about putting a burden on somebody else that they end up not talking, and everybody feels that they're weighing the burden. The patient doesn't want to burden the family doesn't want to burden the patient, so they have to have some outlet, and that's one of the things that we work hard to try to provide.
Have you found that people want to be needed, right?
People want to be needed, and oftentimes people don't know what to do or how to help. And I hear so often from patients, it seems like all my family and friends disappeared. But part of it's they don't know what to do, and they don't want to say the wrong thing and do the wrong thing. So we encourage, there are several different models that you can work with that work together and say, okay, well, let's talk, with the patient. What's a list of tasks that you would be okay having somebody else do? If you need somebody to take you to treatments, let's write down a list. And then we can open that up to your friends and family and say, this is my need. And it allows people the opportunity to say, this is something I can do. So you feel that connection.
What am I bid to give me a ride to the doctor?
Yep. Who wants to come hang out for 6 hours in the chemo treatment area?
You could have an auction.
And it's actually been really good with a couple of people that I've worked with. It's allowed for them to reconnect with people that they that had stepped away because they didn't know how to interact. Because it's awkward and it's unusual. But
I want to get Leann back on in just a second. I want to talk about, we've kind of talked about breast cancer, because the first thing that people think of when they think of cancer is obviously breast cancer, because it's gotten so much publicity, with the Susan G. Komen cancer campaign and, Team Up Montana, primarily breast cancer survivors. Can we talk about men? because men get breast cancer too. Men, of course, we can get prostate cancer, all lung cancer, whatever. Do you find that men are a little bit hesitant to come forward when it comes to this sort of thing, or not?
Not so much, and I guess what we see with men oftentimes, of course, is how men handle things differently than women. That's what you're saying, obviously. However,
we're a bit more private, right?
You are more private, and it's the tough guy image sometimes, or it's that I'm not going to share. And oftentimes, it just takes time to specifically connect with that person. It takes time to sit down with them, and maybe you're not even talking about their new diagnosis. Maybe you're talking about fishing or hunting or something that interests them. Mm-hmm. And it takes a little time to gain trust with men, and as all patients. And we can't forget the component. Oftentimes, men are accompanied with their wives or their daughters or their sons. And sometimes you work kind of through that way because obviously there's love in a family and there's sharing. And when they understand that it's a safe environment, that everything is going to be kept confidential.
Right.
And it's pretty tough to be told that you're a man and you have breast cancer. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody thinks, oh, that's for women.
Right.
Holy crow.
Yeah.
But it's a hard, cold fact that men do get breast cancer, and there is prostate cancer, and it's very difficult. But men do very well. I neglected to mention a lot of our team back in the actual treatment area, and those people are fabulous, from nurses to pharmacy to the lab people to our front desk people, in helping people understand this is a great place, this is a safe place. We use a lot of humor in the treatment of cancer. It sounds like an oxymoron, kind of. But in reality, people identify with that. It lightens things up. It assists with people understanding, I'm going to be okay here.
Well, there's an old saying, laughter is the best medicine, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we've proven that on this show every day.
Yeah, that's true.
We're going to come right back with more of Health Talk in a moment. Leann and Jamie both here. If you have a question, only going to be with us about 8 more minutes, so give us a call at 721-1290. If you're a survivor, you want to maybe share a bit of your story, we'll be right back. Hey, we're back on Health Talk, sponsored by Providence Health and Services, Western Montana. Leann Gooley, Jamie Bussiere, both here with us with the Cancer Center at St. Patrick Hospital. Okay, so who wants to talk about the support groups? Is that you, Jamie? Okay, Jamie is our social worker, and you have different kinds of support groups that you meet together with, right?
Currently, we have 2 support groups that are open to anyone with a diagnosis of cancer. They don't have to be treated or seen at our facility. The first is a general support group, which meets the second Thursday of the month. And all of this information of the support groups and the ways to contact us is on our website, www.mtcancer.com. The general support group, as I said earlier, is open to anybody diagnosed with cancer and their friends and caregivers as well. And then we specifically have a women's breast cancer support group that meets the first and third Wednesday of the month.
Now, why is it significant to have a separate group just for breast cancer folks? This is special needs, obviously, right?
Special needs, and we find while you get support from general, people who are going through cancer as well, sometimes it's nice to be able to talk to somebody who had a similar diagnosis, who may have had similar treatments, to just kind of discuss what's going on. With the support groups, with the women's support group, we bring in speakers that might have specific interest to breast cancer patients. Our next speaker is actually going to be one of the pharmacists who's going to talk about some of the medications associated with breast cancer. So that way we can tailor the information specifically to the group.
Leann, I want to ask you one more question. What happens when somebody who is basically alone, unmarried, or doesn't have any family around, or whatever, they discover that they have cancer and they're pretty much on their own? So how do you help them?
That happens, and it's truly sad when that happens. And what we do, of course, is we rally around that patient as a support team. Obviously, we're going to get Jamie and social services involved, because oftentimes it's a matter of just identifying support as well. Sometimes people are a member of a church. Mm-hmm. They never think about their church family as being someone that can assist them. Sometimes it's key in bringing back family members that maybe they've been estranged from. Oftentimes, it's just a matter of supporting them through our whole system.
Sure. Now, we're almost out of time. So if you could just give us some contact information, how we can get find out more about the Cancer Center, what you folks do.
Right. So as Jamie said, of course, we have the website, www.montanacancer.com.
Okay.
And then our breast center, good Lord, our center is in the Broadway building, which is attached to St. Patrick's Hospital. And our main desk number is 728-2539. And the lovely ladies there at the front desk can always get you to where you need to be for information.
I want to thank both of you for being with us, Leann Gooley and Jamie Bussiere from Providence St. Patrick Hospital. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You guys were terrific.
Thank you.
All right, we'll look forward to having you on again.